Do they still fly to the Roman? Yeah, I do not know what witchcraft's in him, but your soldiers use him as the grace for meat. Their talk at table and their thanks at end. And you are darkened in this action, sir, even by your own. I cannot help it now. Unless by using means I lame the foot of our design, he bears himself more proudly, or even to my person, than I thought he would when first I did embrace him. Yet his nature in that's no changeling, and I must excuse what cannot be amended. Yet I wish, sir, I mean for your particular, you had not joined in commission with him, but either had borne the action of yourself, or else to him had left it solely. I understand thee well, and be thou sure, when he shall come to his account, he knows not what I can urge against him, although it seems, and so he thinks, and is no less apparent to the vulgar eye, that he bears all things fairly, and shows good husbandry for the Volscian state, fights dragon-like, and does achieve as soon as draw his sword. Yet he hath left undone that which shall break his neck or hazard mine, whene'er we come to our account. Sir, I beseech you, think you he'll carry Rome? All places yield to him ere he sits down, and the nobility of Rome are his. The senators and patricians love him too. The tribunes are no soldiers, and their people will be as rash in the repeal as hasty to expel him thence. I think he'll be to Rome as is the osprey to the fish, who takes it by sovereignty of nature. First he was a noble servant to them, but he could not carry his honours even. Whether 'twas pride, which out of daily fortune ever taints the happy man, whether defect of judgment, to fail in the disposing of those chances which he was lord of, or whether nature, nor to be other than one thing, not moving from the cask to the cushion, but commanding peace, even with the same austerity and garb as he controlled the war, but one of these, as he hath spices of them all, not all. For I dare so far free him, made him feared, so hated and so banished, but he has a merit to choke it in the utterance. So our virtues lie in the interpretation of the time, and power unto itself most commendable hath not a tomb so evident as a chair to extol what it hath done. One fire drives out one fire, one nail, rights by rights founder, strengths by strengths do fail. Come, let's away. When Caius Rome's throne is thine, thou art poorest of all, then shortly art thou mine. No, I'll not go. You hear what he hath said, which was sometime in his general, who loved him in a most dear particular. He called me father. But what of that? Go you that banished him a mile before his tent fall down, and knee the way into his mercy. Nay, if he coyed to hear Cominius speak, I'll come at home. I'll keep at home. He would not seem to know me. Do you hear? Yet one time he did call me by my name. I urged our old acquaintance and the drops that we have bled together. Coriolanus he would not answer to, forbade all names. He was a kind of nothing, titleless, till he had forged himself a name of the fire of burning Rome. Why so? You have made good work, a pair of tribunes that have racked for Rome to make coals cheap, a noble memory. I minded him how royal 'twas to pardon, when it was less expected. He replied, it was a bare petition of a state to one whom they had punished. Very well. Could he say less? I offered to awaken his regard for his private friends. His answer to me was, he could not stay to pick them in a pile of noisome musty chaff. He said 'twas folly for one poor grain or two to leave unburnt, and still to nose the offence. For one poor grain or two, I am one of those. His mother, wife, his child, and this brave fellow too, we are the grains. You are the musty chaff, and you are smelt above the moon. We must be burnt for you. Nay, pray be patient. If you refuse your aid in this so never needed help, yet do not upbraids with our distress. But sure, if you would be your country's pleader, your good tongue, more than the instant army we can make, might stop our countrymen. No, I'll not meddle. Pray you go to him. What should I do? Only make trial what your love can do for Rome toward Marcius. Well, and say that Marcius return me as Cominius is returned, unhurt, what then? But as a discontented friend, grief shot with his unkindness, say it be so. Yet your good will must have that thanks from Rome after the measure as you intended will. I'll undertake it. I think he'll hear me. Yet to bite his lip and hum at good Cominius much unhearts me. He was not taken well, he had not dined. The veins unfilled, our blood is cold, and then we pout upon the morning, are unapt to give or to forgive. But when we have stuffed these pipes and these conveyances of our blood with wine and feeding, we have suppler souls than in our priest-like fasts. Therefore I'll watch him till he be dieted to my request, and then I'll set upon him. You know the very road into his kindness, and cannot lose your way. Good faith, I'll prove him, speed how it will. I shall ere long have knowledge of my success. He'll never hear him. Not? I tell you, he does sit in gold, his eyes red as 'twould burn Rome, and his injury, the jailer to his pity, I kneeled before him. 'Twas very faintly he said, rise, dismissed me thus with his speechless hand. What he would do he sent in writing after me, what he would not, bound with an oath to yield his conditions, so that all hope is vain unless his noble mother and his wife, who, as I hear, men mean to solicit him. For mercy to his country, therefore let's hence, and with our fair entreaties haste them on. Stay, whence are you? Stand and go back. You godlike men, 'tis well, but by your leave I am an officer of state, and come to speak with Coriolanus. From whence? From Rome. You may not pass. You must return. Our general will no more hear from thence. You'll see your Rome embraced with fire before. You'll speak with Coriolanus. Good, my friends. If you have heard your general talk of Rome and of his friends there, it is lots to blanks. My name hath touched your ears. It is Menenius. Be it so. Go back. The virtue of your name is not here passable. I tell thee, fellow, thy general is my lover. I have been the book of his good acts, whence men have read his fame unparalleled, happily amplified. For I have ever verified my friends, of whom he's chief, with all the sighs that verity would without lapsing suffer. Nay, sometimes, like to a bull upon a subtle ground, I have tumbled past the throw, and in his praise have almost stamped the leasing. Therefore, fellow, I must have leave to pass. Faith, sir, if you had told as many lies in his behalf as you have uttered words in your own, you should not pass here. No, though it were as virtuous to lie as to live chastely, therefore go back. Prithee, fellow, remember my name is Menenius, always factionary on the party of your general. Howsoever you have been his liar, as you say you have, I am one that, telling true under him, must say you cannot pass, therefore go back. Has he dined? Canst thou tell? For I would not speak with him till after dinner. You are a Roman, are you? I am, as thy general is. And you should hate Rome as he does, can you? When you have pushed out your gates the very defender of them, and in a violent popular ignorance given your enemy your shield. Think to front his revenges with the easy groans of old women, the virginal palms of your daughters, or with the palsied intercession of such a decayed dotard as you seem to be. Can you think to blow out the intended fire your city is ready to flame in, with such weak breath as this? No, you are deceived. Therefore back to Rome and prepare for your execution. You are condemned. Our general has sworn you out of reprieve and pardon. Sirrah, if thy captain knew I were here, he would use me with estimation. Come, my captain knows you not. I mean thy general. My general cares not for you. Back, I say, go, lest I let forth your half-pint of blood back. That's the utmost of your having back. Nay, but fellow, what's the matter? Now, you companion, I'll say an errand for you. You shall know now that I am in estimation. You shall perceive that a Jack Gardent cannot office me from my son coriolanus. Guess but by my entertainment with him, if thou standest not in the state of hanging, or of some death more long in spectatorship and crueler in suffering. Behold now presently, and swound for what's to come upon thee. The glorious gods sit in hourly synod about thy particular prosperity, and love thee no worse than thy old father Menenius does. Oh, my son, thou art preparing fire for us. Look thee, here's water to quench it. I was hardly moved to come to thee, but being assured none but myself could move thee, I have been blown out of our gates with sighs, and conjure thee to pardon Rome and thy petitionary countrymen. The good gods assuage thy wrath, and turn the dregs of it upon this varlet here, this who like a block hath denied my access to thee. Away. How? Away? Wife, mother, child, I know not. My affairs are servanted to others, though I owe my revenge properly. My remission lies in Volscian breasts. That we have been familiar, ingrate forgetfulness shall poison. Rather than pity, note how much therefore be gone. Mine ears against your suits are stronger than your gates against my force. Yet for I loved thee, take this along, I writ it for thy sake, and would have sent it. Another word, Menenius, I will not hear thee speak. This man, Aufidius, was my beloved in Rome, yet thou beholdest. You keep a constant temper. Now, sir, is your name Menenius? 'Tis a spell, you see, of much power. You know the way home again. Do you hear how we are shent for keeping your greatness back? What cause do you think I have to swound? I neither care for the world nor your general. For such things as you, I can scarce think there's any. Y'are so slight. He that hath a will to die by himself fears it not from another. Let your general do his worst for you, be that you are long, and your misery increase with your age. I say to you, as I said too, away. A noble fellow, I warrant him. The worthy fellow is our general. He's the rock, the oak, not to be wind shaken. We will before the walls of Rome tomorrow set down our host. My partner in this action, you must report to the Volscian lords how plainly I have borne this business. Only there ends. You have respected, stopped your ears against the general suit of Rome, never admitted a private whisper, no, not with such friends that thought them sure of you. This last old man whom with a cracked heart I've sent to Rome, loved me above the measure of a father. Nay, guarded and me indeed, their last refuge was to send him, for whose old love I have, though I showed sourly to him, once more offered the first conditions which they did refuse, and cannot now accept, to grace him only, that thought he could do more. A very little I have yielded to, fresh embassies and suits, nor from the state, nor private friends hereafter will I lend ear to. Ha! What shout is this? Shall I be tempted to infringe my vow? Is in the same time 'tis made, I will not. My wife comes foremost, then the honored mold wherein this trunk was framed, and in her hand the grandchild to her blood but out affection. All bond and privilege of nature break. Let it be virtuous to be obstinate. What is that courtesy worth? Oh, those dove's eyes, which can make gods forsworn. I melt and am not of stronger earth than others. My mother bows as if Olympus to a molehill should in supplication nod, and my young boy hath an aspect of intercession which great nature cries, deny not. Let the Volsces plough Rome and harrow Italy. I'll never be such a gosling to obey instinct, but stand as if a man were author of himself, and knew no other kin. My lord and husband, these eyes are not the same I wore in Rome. The sorrow that delivers us thus changed makes you think so. like a dull actor now. I have forgot my part, and I am out, even to full disgrace. Best of my flesh, forgive my tyranny, but do not say for that, forgive our Romans. Our kiss long is my exile, sweet is my revenge. Now by the jealous Queen of Heaven, that kiss I carried from thee, dear, and my true lip hath virgined it e'er since. You gods, I pray to the most noble mother of the world, leave unsaluted. Sink my knee in the earth. Of thy deep duty more impression show than that of common sons. Oh, stand up, lest whilst with no softer cushion than the flint I kneel before thee, and unproperly show duty as mistaken all this while between the child and parent. What is this? Your knees to me, to your corrected son? Then let the pebbles on thy hungry beach fill up the stars. Then let the mutinous wind strike the proud cedars 'gainst the fiery sun, murdering impossibility to make what cannot be slight work. Thou art my warrior. I hope to frame thee. Do you know this lady, the noble sister of Publicola, the moon of Rome, chaste as the icicle that's curded by the frost from purest snow and hangs on Dian's temple, dear Valeria? This is a poor epitome of yours, which by the interpretation of full time may show like all yourself. The god of soldiers, with the consent of supreme Jove, inform thy thoughts with nobleness, that thou mayest prove to shame unvulnerable and stick in the wars like a great sea mark, standing every flaw and saving those that eye thee. Your Nisera, that's my brave boy. Even he, your wife, this lady, and myself are suitors to you. I beseech you, peace, or if you'd ask, remember this before. The thing I have forsworn to grant may never be held by your denials. Do not bid me dismiss my soldiers or capitulate again with Rome's mechanics. Tell me not wherein I seem unnatural. Desire not to allay my rages and revenges with your colder reasons. Oh, no more, no more. You have said you will not grant us anything, for we have nothing else to ask but that which you deny already. Yet we will ask that, if you fail in our request, the blame may hang upon your hardness. Therefore hear us. Ophidius, and your voices mark, for we'll hear not from Rome in private your request. Should we be silent and not speak, our raiment and state of bodies would bewray what life we had led since thy exile. Think with thyself how more unfortunate than all living women are we come hither, since that thy sight, which should make our eyes flow with joy, hearts dance with comforts, constrains them weep and shake with fear and sorrow, making the mother, wife, and child to see the son, the husband, and the father tearing his country's bowels out, and to pour we thine enmities most capital. Thou barrest us our prayers to the gods, which is a comfort that all but we enjoy. For how can we, alas, how can we for our country pay, whereto we are bound together with thy victory, whereto we are bound, alack, or we must lose the country, our dear nurse, or else thy person, our comfort in the country. We must find an evident calamity, though we had our wish which side should win. For either thou must as a foreign recreant be led with manacles through our streets, or else triumphantly tread on thy country's ruin, and bear the palm for having bravely shed thy wife and children's blood. For myself, son, I propose not to wait on fortune till these wars determine. If I cannot persuade thee rather to show a noble grace to both parts, than seek the end of one, thou shalt no sooner march to assault thy country than to tread trust to it. Thou shalt not, on thy mother's womb that brought thee to this world. Ay, and mine, that brought you forth this boy to keep your name living to time. I shall not tread on me. I'll run away till I am bigger, but then I'll fight. Not of a woman's tenderness to be requires, nor child, nor woman's face to see. I have sat too long. Nay, go not from us thus. If it were so that our request did tend to save the Romans, thereby to destroy the Volsces whom you serve, you might condemn us as poisonous of your honor. No, our suit is that you reconcile them, while the Volsces may say, this merely we have showed the Romans, this we received. And either side, and each in either side, give thee all hail to thee, and cry, be blessed for making up this peace. Thou knowest, great son, the end of war is uncertain, but this certain, that if thou conquer Rome, the benefit which thou shalt thereby reap is such a name whose repetition will be dogged with curses, whose chronicle thus writ, the man was noble, but with this last attempt we wiped it out, destroyed his country, and his name remains to the ensuing age abhorred. Speak to me, son, thou hast affected the fine strains of honor to imitate the graces of the gods, to tear with thunder the wide cheeks of the air, and yet to change thy sulphur with a bolt that should but rive an oak. Why dost not speak? Thinkest thou it honorable for a noble man still to remember wrongs? Daughter, speak you. He cares not for your weeping. Speak thou, boy. Perhaps thy childishness will move him more than can our reasons. There's no man in the world more bound to his mother, yet here he lets me prate like one of the stocks. Thou hast never in thy life showed thy dear mother any courtesy, when she, poor hen, fond of no second brood, has clucked thee to the wars, and safely home loaden with honor. Say my requests unjust, and spurn me back, but if it be not so, thou art not honest, and the gods will plague thee, that thou refrainest from me to the duty which to a mother's part belongs. He turns away. Down, ladies, let us shame him with our knees. To his surname Coriolanus longs more pride than pity to our prayers. Down and end. This is the last, so we will home to Rome, and die among our neighbors. Nay, beholds this boy that cannot tell what we would have, but kneels and holds up hands for fellowship, does reason our petition with more strength than thou hast to deny it. Come, let us go. This fellow had a Volscian to his mother. His wife is in Coriolis, and this child, like him by chance, yet give us our dispatch. I've hushed until our city be afire, and then I'll speak a little. Oh, mother, mother, what have you done? Behold, the heavens do ope. The gods look down. In this unnatural scene they laugh at. Oh, my mother, mother, oh, you have won a happy victory to Rome, but for your son believe it, oh, believe it. Most dangerously you have with him prevailed, if not most mortal to him, but let it come. Ophidius, though I cannot make true wars, I'll frame convenient peace. Now, good Ophidius, were you in thy steed, would you have heard a mother less, or granted less, Ophidius? I was moved withal. I dare be sworn you were. And, sir, it is no little thing to make mine eyes to sweat compassion. But, good sir, what peace you'll make to advise me. For my part, I'll not to Rome. I'll back with you, and pray you stand to me in this cause, O mother, wife. I'm glad thou hast set thy mercy and thy honor at difference in thee. Out of that I'll work myself a former fortune. Aye, by and by, but we will drink together, and you shall bear a better witness back than words which we, on like conditions, will have counter-sealed. Come, enter with us, ladies, you deserve to have a temple built you. All the swords in Italy and her confederate arms could not have made this peace. See, you, yon coin of the Capitol, yon cornerstone. Why, what of that? If it be possible for you to displace it with your little finger, there's some hope the ladies of Rome, especially his mother, may prevail with him. But I say there is no hope in it. Our throats are sentenced and stay upon execution. Is it possible that so short a time can alter the condition of a man? There is differency between a grub and a butterfly, yet your butterfly was a grub. This Marsyas is grown from man to dragon. He has wings. He's more than a creeping thing. He loved his mother dearly. So did he me. And he no more remembers his mother now than an 8-year-old horse, the tartness of his face sour ripe with grapes. When he walks, he moves like an engine, and the ground shrinks before his treading. He is able to pierce a corslet with his eye, talks like a knell, and his hum is a battery. He sits in his state as a thing made for Alexander. What he bids be done is finished, and with his bidding. He wants nothing of a god but eternity in a heaven to throne in. Yes, mercy if you report him truly. I paint him in the character. Mark what mercy his mother shall bring forth from him. There is no more mercy in him than there is milk in a male tiger. That shall our poor city find, and all this is long of you. The gods be good unto us. No, in such a case the gods will not be good unto us. When we banished him, we respected not them, and he returning to break our necks, they respect not us. Sir, If you'd save your life, fly to your house. The plebeians have got your fellow tribune, and hail him up and down, all swearing, if the Roman ladies bring not comfort home, they'll give him death by inches. What's the news? Good news, the ladies have prevailed. The Volscians are dislodged, and Marsyas gone. A merrier day did never yet greet Rome. Not the expulsion of the Tarquins. Friend, art thou certain this is true? Is it more certain? As certain as I know the summer's fire. Where have you lurked that you have doubt of it? Ne'er through an arch so hurried the blown tide as we comforted through the gates. Why, hark you! The trumpets, sackbuts, psalteries, and fifes, tabors and cymbals, and the shouting Romans make the sun dance, hark you! This is good news. I will go meet the ladies. This Volumnia is worth a consuls, senators, patricians, a city full of tribunes such as you. A sea and land full, you have prayed well today. This morning for 10,000 of your throats I'd not have given a doit. Hark, how they joy. First, the gods bless you for your tidings. Next, accept my thankfulness. Sir, we have all great cause to give great thanks. They're near the city, almost at point to enter. We will meet them and help the joy. Behold, our patroness,